look at my hair. Oh my goodness. This winter is not being good to my crochet hair. But anyway, this video is about that. Welcome to the Ride With Me series. Apparently I'm doing more videos where I'm actually like driving. And it's like you riding with me instead of me like being parked in my car. But this is a little story time because today at church, I recorded this video a different day. But anyway, today at church, I was helping out with registration for people who were like coming in. We were checking their temperatures. They had to have on a mask, etc., etc. So I was helping out with that. And this man winked at me. And I was like, oh, like it, you know how like a smell or a movie or a song or a specific name or just all different types of things can remind you of someone or an experience that you had, for good or bad. Well, when the man winked at me, it reminded me of like old school like swag, and it was very classy. And I was like, okay, because he was like winking in agreement to let me know that he heard what I said. But you know, with a mask on, sometimes like it's hard to hear what people actually say. And so a wink is like maybe making a comeback, because sometimes all you can do is see people's eyes, right? With the mask on. But anyway, when he did that, it reminded me of my Uncle Norman. My Uncle Norman was the dude, okay? He's like one of the GOATs in my mind, if you will, greatest of all time types of people. My Uncle Norman was a preacher. In fact, he was the one who like was always like witnessing to the family, apparently, and that's how my dad became a Christian, okay? That's how my dad got to the kingdom, because of the evangelism and prayers of my Uncle Norman, and I'm sure other people. But anyway, I remember my dad talking a lot about my Uncle Norman being instrumental. And also my Uncle Norman was a mechanic. Like some of my earliest memories are being at his shop. Like we would stop by, like my dad would like ride by the shop, and I feel like he would just like hang out there. Maybe he didn't, but in my mind, that's what I remember, like hanging out at the shop and my Uncle Norman eating the peanuts that you got to take out of the shell. I'd be like, what? Like, you a mechanic, your hands dirty, and you eating the peanuts you got to take out the shell? But whatever. And at one point, he worked at one of those auto parts stores. And I remember one time, key memory, one time when I was like 16, 17 years old, something was going on with my car. I don't remember what, but my Uncle Norman was working at the auto parts store that was right down the street from my job at this local dry cleaners, right? And so he had told me to call him, and when I called him, I had just gotten a cell phone. This is like, cell phones were still kind of newish, I feel like, at this time. But anyway, I'm forever 29 till my knees start acting up, so don't try to guess my little age in this video. But anyway, my Uncle Norman was like, put the phone up to like where the noise is coming from. And I was like, I don't really know where it's coming from. I'm just sitting in the car. And he was like, wait, okay, stop talking. So he was like, turn the key again. And I was like, okay. And he heard the noise. He said, oh, okay, I know exactly what it is. Bring the car to the shop. We'll get that fixed up. I was like, what? So he said, well, what we'll do is we'll trade cars. He said, when you're on your way to work, because I was going to like my little after school job, he was like, drop your car off and come inside, and I'll give you the keys to my truck, and you can drive the truck to your job. And I was like, Uncle Norman, you drive like a big truck. Like, it was one of those big pickup trucks in my mind. That's how I remember it, at least. 16, 17-year-old me was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to drive that. He was like, you can drive it, use your mirrors. And I was like, okay, so okay, pause. Pause the whole story. In my mind, I was like, this man has like a lot of confidence in me to let me drive his truck to my job while he works on my car. Like, I just started driving. So I'll forever respect him for that moment. And I did make it to my little job. It won't but like a mile away, but I was really nervous. But anyway, so he definitely got my car squared away, brought it back to my job before I got off work, and he took his truck. But Uncle Norman was like a giant of a person from what I remember. I got so many other stories, but when that man winked at me this morning at church, it just took me back to not only being a teenager, but also being a little girl in the shop, hearing all the noises and the sounds, hearing all the sounds and the smells of the shop. And so this one is for Uncle Norman. May he rest in peace.